So, welcome to. I'm confused by cameras and where things are. Welcome to today's episode of Everyday Alex. And today I wanted to attempt to answer any questions people have got about the Reset program. This is my 12-week coaching program, which starts on registration is open at the moment, and the next group is starting next week. This is a coaching program that I run 3 times a year. And it's really the integration of the very best of everything that I've studied and developed over the years for calming your nervous system. And it's particularly important for people on a healing path from fatigue, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. It's also very helpful for sleep issues, or indeed anyone that's working on calming and settling their nervous system. So if you've got questions, what I'm trying to, yesterday the camera crashed, so I changed software. So I think now I can read questions posted on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm going to go through some of the questions that have been emailed in over the last 24 hours since the program has been open for registration. If you want to find out more about the Reset program, you can go to alexhoward.tv/reset. You can sign up for a free 3-part video series that introduces really the core principles, the foundational ideas behind the program. So one of the questions that's been coming up a bit is how much work is actually involved in the program. So I think it's true to say that it's a good example of a program where you get out what you put into the program, but you don't need to put everything in all in one go. In fact, one of the things that I go to great lengths to encourage people with the program is not to use if you've got achiever patterns, not to use those as your director of how you go through the program. That it's really important to listen to your body, to listen to your feelings, listen to your own guidance, and to support yourself to the best you can going through the program. In terms of what is actually involved in terms of content, there is there's a new module each week, and those modules are about an hour long. On the back of those modules, you will then have homework that you'll be doing. You can allocate anything from 15, 20 minutes a day up to, I know people going through the program who've allowed up to several hours a day, but very flexible. You will then, on the Wednesday of each week, you will receive, be feeding back your experience so far that week. So questions that have come from the module, you'll be feeding back how you're doing. You'll be rating this on your nervous system about where that is and whether that's been calming so far. And then you'll also be asking your questions. And from that feedback, the team and I then go through all of that. And on a Thursday or a Friday morning, I record an in-depth Q&A video going through all the questions that people, or pretty much all the questions people have asked. And you don't need to come on a live call. In fact, one of the things I think people really appreciate about this format is you submit your questions online, and then anonymously to you, I then go through and answer those questions. So you can ask things that feel perhaps very personal, things that might feel quite vulnerable for you. You haven't got to worry about other people knowing that it's you or anything like that. So over the 12 weeks, there's about 30 hours of video material that's generated through the interactions and the sort of core modules. There's also filmed sessions of me working with participants that brings the material alive. But you have lifetime access to the program. And this is one of the things that I think is really important, that you don't need to go through all of it in one go. In fact, the people that went through the first Reset program then came back and revisited the program over a further 12 weeks. So you can go through the program as many times as you want to. And that's something that I really encourage people to be doing. So another question is, well, what if I get overwhelmed? What if I can't keep up? So firstly, I'd very much be encouraging you to work on the very thought patterns and habits and behaviors which are behind that feeling of overwhelm. But I would also be encouraging you to listen to your body, as I said. And if you need to do a module a month, that would also be fine as well. Another question is, why is this, or how is this different to other programs, online programs that are out there in terms of learning to reset your nervous system? Well, firstly, I think the value of the program, it's a in-depth coaching program, so it's priced accordingly to that. There is currently a 50% discount on the current intake. But there is a lot more depth that we go into. Most programs out there will focus on just the kind of cognitive mental pattern side, or other programs might focus on how to work with your emotions. Other programs might focus on how to kind of do mindfulness and calm your mind. What I've done is condensed all of the key pieces that I feel you need into one program, with a very deliberate and logical sequence of how we move through. And in my experience, if you don't deal with each of these pieces, what you'll often find is you can't then have a sustainable shift in what's happening in your nervous system. So, for example, if you just deal with, I was talking about on Wednesday, maybe, I was talking about why emotions are so important. That if you just focus on calming your mind and you don't work with the emotional side, you'll find you have to endlessly work on calming your mind, because as soon as you calm, you're going to get stimulated back up again. So it's very, very deliberate in the design and the format of how we come to things. People have been asking, when does the registration close, and why is it that there's only this specific window 3 times a year when you can join the program? So registration will close in the next few days, depending upon how many places are left, but certainly by end of Monday, I think is the aim. The reason why there are only 3 intakes a year is everyone goes through the program together. So rather than kind of dipping in at so much at different points, what we're doing is it's a very deliberate, very specific sequence of how we move through the content in the program. And so by joining at the beginning and then submitting your questions, getting the answers, doing the assignments, that kind of sequence is very deliberate. And I don't run more than one program at a time, because it's a big time commitment for me and for the team to really support people going through the program. So there are 12 weeks to it. So I do it 3 times a year. That's the format. A few people have been saying, I don't have chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia or ME. Can I still do the program? Absolutely. The program is very helpful for people working with recovering from those conditions, but it's not only specifically designed for that. It's anywhere where an overactivated nervous system is happening and therefore causing issues, particularly sleep issues, particularly chronic pain issues, particularly anxiety issues. Anything like that, you will find, I think, the program enormously helpful for creating sustainable, lasting change. If you do have questions, I know it's sort of Friday afternoon and it's not a particularly good time, people coming onto live videos. So I will look at comments and respond to comments over the weekend. But if people do have questions now, I know there's a few people that are on live, feel free to post questions in the comments and I'm happy to answer them. Another question has been, I feel like I've tried everything. And perhaps people also saying I've covered some of the things that I know are in this program. Will this work for me? So I would always say, be very suspicious of anyone that makes guarantees or claims that what they're offering is absolutely going to work for you. I don't know if this program is going to work for you. I know that we've had an enormous amount of amazing feedback from the first 2 groups that have gone through the program. I mean, pages and pages of amazing feedback. And I also know that these tools are enormously effective and helpful. What I would say, though, is that in a sense, often the reason why things people have done previously haven't worked, and some of the things that I very deliberately designed this program to counteract, is firstly, as I mentioned earlier, people are working on one piece of the jigsaw. And perhaps they're working on some of the right pieces of the jigsaw, but they're not tying the whole thing together. So that integrative, deliberate design, I think, is really important. Another reason is sometimes, particularly with online programs, people can struggle with following through. And that's where this format of ongoing interaction with the group and with me through the program, which you can do anonymously, is really important. There's a structure, there's an accountability. I give real attention to trying to ensure that people are not just doing what I call shelf help, where you buy something and it sits on a shelf, but you're actually following through and putting tools into practice. On Instagram, Josie saying, yes, if we do not know for sure if it is chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia, it would still be helpful to do the program. Yes, absolutely. If you have some of the symptoms, for example, fatigue or pain symptoms, then it's likely to be very helpful. The program you're talking about is a 12-week one-on-one with you for resetting the nervous system. So it's a 12-week group program where you and a group of people are going through module by module. You're watching pre-recorded teaching on a Monday. You're submitting questions. We're going through those. And then I create a personalized video for the group going through those questions with answers that comes out on a Thursday afternoon or a Friday morning. And you're also then watching film sessions of people in the group going through it as well. So you're also seeing the practical elements really coming to life. If you want to find out more, I highly recommend signing up for the free 3-part video series, alexhoward.tv/reset. Sign up now. As I say, registration is only open for a short period of time because everyone starts the program together and we go through together in a specific sequence. Josie's saying, do you ever get to talk with the rest of the group? We create a private Facebook group for each group coming into the program, and that is optional. Some people really like the Facebook group idea, others are not so keen on that, but it's a private closed group, which means that only people that are registered on that reset program can join the group. And then you can introduce yourself, you can ask questions of each other, share your experiences. And then at the end of the program, you will have the option to join the main group of graduates that have been through the program for sort of ongoing peer-to-peer support as well. So I hope that's been helpful. If you've got comments over the weekend, I'll keep an eye on YouTube. Happy to respond to those. But the best thing to do is sign up for the free 3-part video series. And if you decide you want to join the program, I would love to have you as part of the next Reset program. I am enormously proud, and I don't say things like that often. I'm enormously proud of this program and the impact that I know it's having on people. So if it's something that you feel drawn towards, I'd love to have you join the next program. Thanks for watching. I'll be back on Monday, clean shaven, hopefully. And I'll do another live Q&A on Monday. And then we've got the next episode of the In Therapy series on Tuesday. And we have the second half of Hannah's first session. So look forward to talking with you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.